The average ancient human didn't make it past 35. That's the number everyone throws around. But here's what nobody asks. Why? Not just disease, that's a lazy answer. What actually killed them? Everyone says they died young because of disease. Sure, but which diseases? And why were they so vulnerable? Was it their diet, their environment, or something that will genuinely surprise you? 4 suspects. Let's investigate. First, the number is a lie. Before we blame anything, the 35 years number is statistically misleading. It includes child mortality. Average 2 with 68 and you get 35. So what killed them before they got there? Childbirth. In ancient populations, maternal mortality was catastrophic. There was no surgical intervention transfusion. In some ancient societies, a large percentage of all births the mother's life. Days. That's all you had. An infection could arrive. In the 1800s, this killed many. Any opening was a death sentence. A tiny cut, a birth, a tooth extraction. Within days, this right here, teeth. Ancient humans' teeth were often destroyed by their 30s. Then the blood, then exposed root ancient world meant in a nerve. Archaeologists find severe dental disease, abscesses, bone loss, infection scarring. This told an ancient story. Teeth weren't just painful, they were actively killing people, slowly. Diet is complicated. Hunter-gatherers had impressive diversity. Seasonal variety, they were often taller. Then humans settled and started farming. Something unexpected happened to their health, and it wasn't good. Ready for the twist? The agricultural revolution is associated with a decline. Early farmers were shorter, with worse teeth. They had more deficiencies, and they had higher rates of infectious disease. Zoonotic diseases. Measles came from cattle. Influenza from birds and pigs. Smallpox from camels or rodents. Ancient humans lived in close contact with domesticated animals.
Immunological naivety. When populations face new diseases, with zero prior exposure, there is no defense, and the results are catastrophic.
Density. When humans moved from small nomadic groups into settled villages, human waste near food. Columels and people living in diseases that killed in life, in days. Intestinal parasites, enums. Analysis of ancient coprolites, preserved ancient finds of parasitic burden. Roundworms, tapeworms, they drain the hosts in years. Roundworms. Here's why parasites matter so much. They don't kill directly. What they do is drain you, slowly secondary and fight with. Ancient people were fighting disease compromised, but it made everything else fatal. Violence is uncommon, but it's in the data. Skeletons show healed fractures on their forearms. This is where you'd defend against a blow. Resource competition caused early death. Bones are an extraordinary arc. Harris lines record stress. Enamel hypoplasia records illness. Bone density tells us about nutrition. Wear patterns tell it labor. Ancient skeletons are case files, and they paint a specific picture. Seasonal starvation was a regular feature of ancient life. Every late winter, before new crops, food ran critically short. Harris lines show severe enough that the body stopped growing. To conserve resources, children under 5 were the most vulnerable to these threats. They had immature immune systems and no food storage. The first 5 years were the most dangerous window in human history. Ancient humans faced constant immune activation, fighting parasites, bacteria, and wounds all simultaneously, significantly vulnerability. They weren't fighting one thing, but everything at once, killed them. This suspect is genuinely surprising. Vitamin D deficiency. Ancient humans who moved indoors, significant sun exposure. Vitamin D is critical for bone density, permanent marks on the skeleton. It was keeping them alive. It wasn't always from outside. Cells would attack their own tissues. Constant immune stress made these errors likely. The system got the targeting wrong. Ancient humans suffered joint damage, quietly destroying them. This was happening up here constantly. Ancient humans were in a permanent survival state. No ability to turn off the response. Chronic cortisol suppresses immune function, disrupts digestion, and accelerates aging. So, we have the data now. Dental disease, parasites, and violence. The question isn't why they died young. The answer is not disease. The answer is a system. A well-nourished arrives that a healthy immune cells. Ancient death was rarely one cause, and it doesn't. It was a cascade. So what changed? Modern humans didn't just find one cure. We systematically dismantled vaccines. These weren't one discovery. They were 7 separate evolutions. And here is how. Of all 7, this one might have saved the most lives. Clean water didn't just stop one disease, it stopped dozens of diseases simultaneously. One pipe, one filter, millions of lives. The modern world takes this for granted. That surprises almost everyone when they learn it. The agricultural revolution made India shorter, sicker, and more malnourished. Agriculture allowed more people to survive, but those people were less healthy. Agriculture allowed food surpluses. Surpluses allowed cities. Cities allowed specialization interests. But to get there, you had to build through several health trade-off. The bodies tell a different story than the history books. Harris lines from starvation. Enamel hypoplasia from ill-arm fractures from violence. Ancient life was much harder and more painful. The bones record everything. But here's the counterpoint. For all that, ancient humans had immune systems shaped by millions of years of evolutionary pressure. They had things we have lost, and we have things they couldn't imagine. And here's the irony. We solved the ancient threats, created an entirely new set, heart disease and diabetes. We traded the ancient killers for modern ones. But here's what we share. The same body, the same cardiovascular system, the same needs for connection and sleep. Same body, same basic needs. 60,000 years apart. Verdict: ancient humans died young, not because of any single cause, but because of a web of threats. They had no tools to break. They had resilience and knowledge. They weren't fragile, they were overwhelmed. What survives them is you. The knowledge they accumulated about which plants worked and which didn't, looked at a world designed to kill them, and figured out how to pass it forward. Here is what I think you should take from this. Every single thing that killed ancient humans at scale has either been solved or is solvable. That's not pessimism, that's the most optimistic thing I know.